Remember, remember, the 5th of November, the election interference and plot. I know of no reason why the election interference should ever be forgot. First, the overture, yes. Yes. And then the chant, let's go Brandon. And now the bass drum. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Look outside, Mommy. They're playing.
How do you do that?
Wait, comes the crescendo!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Just got done watching Steven Crowder's live stream where he laid out exactly how he ended up suspended from YouTube up until right before the election, essentially, as he has put it. This was a direct shot across the bow at one of the largest conservative shows on the platform. I think that's a fair way to categorize it. His live streams, when I tuned out, he had almost 100,000 people watching him on the Mean Green website, that site where nobody is. And I have to say, this is very, very concerning. Now, I have been somebody who, as you guys know, love it or hate it, somebody who really tries to kind of stay within the rules. And a lot of people have always said, well, dude, who cares? Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave YouTube? That would be foolish. It is where the overwhelming majority of people reside. If you just leave, you can't tell people about other free speech alternatives. That's just the way it is. Obviously, also, 80% of the money is still on YouTube. Until such a point where that is different, why would anybody leave? But I do use my platform to often say, hey, if you like free speech, pick up your phone, tablet, or TV, or Xbox, download the Rumble app, follow The Quartering, follow, Steven Crowder, at the expense of losing that ad revenue. I don't care. I prefer people would watch my videos on free speech platforms, even though I don't make any money from them currently, because free speech is extremely important. Now, I do have a deal with Rumble, which does help, but I've always said this a long time before I ever did. So Steven Crowder put out, update. We'll be starting a show at a special time today, late. The Quartering's never late. We're live at 1 Eastern. Well, sometimes we're late, but it's like a minute. YouTube hit 8 of our videos with strikes, including 7 for being mean. We are reaching out to YouTube for answers right now. This was a warning shot from Google. If it's war they want, it's war they shall get. Now, I was curious, okay, is this just another opportunity to get people to sign up for Mug Club? That would be obviously a great thing to do. I probably should be telling people to sign up for my locals. I have a locals, and, it's similar. It's much cheaper than Mug Club, but nonetheless, he put out this article saying YouTube has banned us until the election. On Friday afternoon, left-wing activists launched their largest attack on our channel yet. We received 8 strikes on 8 different videos, and one of them was from over a year ago. Basically, outside of the year-old one, YouTube struck down a live stream since Democrats started to install Kamala Harris as their candidate. I'll have a lot to say about this potential harassment and meanness on Monday, which I will tell you what he said. Essentially, they had a Kamala Harris doll on the set. I don't know if it was like a blow-up doll or whatever the case was. YouTube didn't like it, and anytime they showed it on camera or if they referred to her as one of the many nicknames that people bring up about Kamala Harris, that had then counted as, a strikeable offense. Which, here's the thing. If YouTube was evenly applying this, which they, in my opinion, were not, then Stephen Colbert should have gotten a strike when he referred to Donald Trump's mouth as Putin's junk holder. Or when, there's, was it Samantha Bee calling Melania a see you next Tuesday? These are public figures. You're allowed to insult them. You're allowed to parody them. This is well within the realms of free speech, and I don't think you can bully the potential president. All you need to do is turn on any late night television show, which their clips proliferate on YouTube, to find endless personal attacks on Donald Trump, and none of these videos are ever getting struck down. The fact that there were 8 of these means that somebody painstakingly went through all of Crowder's videos and struck them down. It's wild. He writes, our big tech overlords are scared because they know we are gearing up for the largest election night live stream ever. I'll tell you now, obviously Crowder, this is his world, his game, but I will also be live streaming on election night. And I read my chat, and, if you want a little smaller, chiller environment, hopefully you'll come by my election live stream. It'll hopefully be my biggest live stream ever, too. It probably won't be like Crowder when he gets 400,000 people, but this is also not the first time. In fact, Crowder was also suspended during the primaries, or midterms, I'm sorry, and now the election. It seems like what he is saying is that people are picking the strategic times to suddenly start caring about stuff, and then, whoops, you're striked up until like past October. Can't slip up, can't do anything else. Big tech overlords are scared because they know we're gearing up for the largest election night stream ever. This isn't about us. It's about the silencing any and all opposition to their narrative. And it's only the start of what they will do before November. They want to keep you in the dark so you don't question anything. Why isn't Kamala Harris answering questions? Don't worry about it. Why has she suddenly flip-flopped every position she had 4 years ago? Don't worry about it. Why are there 10 million plus illegals allowed to flood over the border under her watch? Don't worry about that either. And, ultimately, I think that he has a very fair criticism of this. Crowder has oftentimes, pushed the envelope with YouTube, and sometimes you fly a little too close to the sun. However, he brings up some valid points as to why he believes that this is trying to tip the scales of how people will vote. There's a certain percentage of, by the way, have you downloaded the Rumble app yet? If you have an Xbox, if you have a Roku, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, if you have a lot of smart TVs, desktop, right? Download the app, follow the quartering, follow your other favorite content creators, especially come election time. Obviously, things will be tightening down. This is not just a Crowder thing, too, by the way. On Friday, late Friday afternoon, they also suspended Henry from MXR Plays. So it wasn't just Crowder, but it does seem like we're going to just we're going to have a huge Banwave. We're going to get rid of somebody with 2 million subs, and then we're going to also suspend Steven Crowder, all on a Friday afternoon. The reason this stuff is important is because, according to this report, in 2016, biased search results generated by Google's search algorithm likely impacted undecided voters in a way that gave at least 2.6 million votes to Hillary Clinton, whom I supported. I know this because I preserved more than 13,000 election-related searches conducted by a diverse group of Americans on Google, Bing, and Yahoo in the weeks leading up to the election, and Google search results, which dominate search in the United States and worldwide, were significantly biased in favor of Secretary Clinton in all 10 positions on the first page of search results in both blue and red states. Nobody's surprised by that. Ultimately, remember last week when they were taking down photographs of Donald Trump surviving that attempt on his life? Facebook, Instagram saying it was quote unquote misinformation, and only after a massive outcry, pushback, suddenly they were like, oopsies, oopsie doopsies. We made an oopsie. We didn't mean for that oopsie to happen, but oopsies doopsies sometimes, and we are so sorry for that. And then they just went right back on their way. Now the actual strike goes here and does lay out. It says that our harassment policy prohibits any kind of content that would, they have Kamala as a blow-up doll, okay? I think it's extremely ticky-tack. Extremely ticky-tack in my opinion. Also, they didn't like that they were calling certain people whores. That's it. And by the way, I don't think you can cyberbully basically the sitting president. You know? Like, literally, like the sitting president, you can't turn on nightly news, okay? Look at the nightly news and see the things that they say about Donald Trump, or nightly comedy shows, right? The kind of stuff they say about, not just, by the way, not just Donald Trump, but, you know, look at the stuff that Jimmy Kimmel said about Americans who didn't want to get the jab. He obviously, or look at the things he said about the dentist that was like sport hunting, ruined the man's life. All these clips still live completely untouched, unfettered on YouTube. You know, them saying, you know, Trump's mouth is for some other dude's junk, all this kind of stuff. That's all fine. And again, it should be. Just so we're clear, it should be. You should be able to roast any way you see fit. But it certainly seems that, you know, Crowder has placed himself, or somebody has placed Crowder in, you know, a interesting position where, you know, if he steps out of line even a little bit, my guess is that YouTube really, I don't know this for a fact, but I can't even play. He says, here, this is why we're banned. You can watch it yourself. It's basically, again, him calling someone a whore or showing the doll. That's it. That's literally it. A million worse things are said about Donald Trump, but, you know, BuzzFeed News, YouTube has finally admitted that Steven Crowder mocking someone for being LGBTQ Latino is not okay. The mainstream media, the mainstream press, you know, has been basically trying to get him banned for years. You look at Media Matters. Well, YouTube bans aren't working anymore. What? So they wanted him banned, but they don't like that he appears on other people's shows. The whole thing is absolutely wild. These platforms, by the way, are supposed to adhere to what is called Section 230. And Section 230 means that they can't be sued from what people put on their platform in exchange for them remaining a platform. What makes them a platform? The fact that they do not put the fingers on the scale. When you act as a publisher, like let's say the Daily Wire is a publisher, Steven Crowder is a publisher, you can be sued. And there are the traditional form of publishing, like by like writing a bad article or putting out a video, you know, with something terrible in it. But there's also acting as a publisher by suppressing certain pieces of information or promoting only pro information. What obviously everybody knows. YouTube is widely thought to be pressing the scales in favor of Democrats. And it, you know, this coming up election is going to be extraordinarily important. And I hope that you'll open your phone after this video, or your Xbox or your Roku or your Amazon. If you're like, I don't know how to get the Rumble app, you can get a Roku for like a few bucks. Plug it into an HDMI port on your computer or on your TV, boom, you have it. Or you go over there and you just, you know, you start following your favorite creators, especially when you have creators that talk about being censored or creators that talk about how they care about free speech and they're not on these platforms. Ask them why they're not. You know, I've been working really, really hard to grow my Rumble page. I now have 227,000 followers there. I'm live every single Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern, and I hope that you'll join me there. I hope that you'll join me on Rumble today for my live stream. And if not today, someday soon. These kind of censorship attacks are going to increase. People need to be extremely careful, and they need to keep promoting new and alt tech platforms. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, please leave a like on it. Better than leaving a like is download the Rumble app, follow the quartering, and tune into my live streams. It's just another app. We all know everyone has a million of them anyway, but this particular app isn't going to ban people for a joke. Hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you again real soon.